Okay, everybody, we're just letting you know that we'll be starting Rikka's LED workshop very shortly. So if you're interested to join in, to listen in, and to upgrade your knowledge and cosplay, please do make your way to the stage here. It should be starting very shortly. Come in, don't be shy. You can come and sit closer, take a look, see, and learn something new, which I'm very sure will help you, especially if you are intending not just to upgrade your cosplay but to compete in various cosplay competitions, right? We'll be starting in a few minutes, so go ahead, come and sit down. Jangan malu-malu. We'll be here until the end of the day, but Rika will only be here on stage teaching you guys for about an hour, maybe less. So please do come and join us.
Hi guys, hello. Before I start, right, I just want to ask you guys to come close. Cause like the LED, is like sibei small biji, like super small biji. So I'm gonna try and show you guys, and then I'll be sitting here so that we can actually see some stuff. If you guys are interested, yeah, please come forward. Don't be shy. And we'll try to make this interactive. So like maybe I'll ask some questions. And then I'm also actually giving away some stuff so that hopefully it will be useful for your next project. So I will speak in Malay, English, and Chinese. So if anything you guys need to know, yeah. So for the people at the back, if you want to have a look closer, you can move up closer, yeah. Okay, because LED is so small and the light is so bright, so maybe you cannot see anything. Okay. Okay. I'm Rika, and today actually I asked my partner Kyandy to come along for this workshop, but unfortunately she's not in Malaysia at the moment, so it will just be me. So I will be splitting this cosplay workshop into two parts. The first part is more for beginner, so hopefully it will be able to help those who are interested and new to learn. And actually there's a lot of basics that I realize a lot of cosplayers are not paying attention to, so hopefully I'll be able to help. Then the second part is more on the advanced. So we are actually going to be touching on Adreno as well. So there will be a live demo from my partner, and I will pause whenever to explain a little bit of what's going on now. Okay, let's start. Okay, everybody ready? Out. Okay, so a little bit of introduction first. So actually in Malaysia, prelims for WCS competition, we did a very different set of lighting from the one that went to Japan. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, yeah? We'll make this interactive. So the first thing is, personally I feel like, when you go on stage, you need at least 12 votes. 12 votes to achieve something that you can actually see, especially with the stage lighting. But minimum 5 votes is fine. Okay, so here we use like on the shoulder we added some stuff that is actually thermoplastic. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with thermoplastic beads. You heat them in water, then you shake them. You can add a little bit of coloring with Copic marker, and then after that we actually embed the LED inside. Okay, so if you don't want to embed the LED, you can also sew it onto your clothes, and then you just glue a pin or mold a pin to the thermoplastic, then you pin it on your shirt so that you can remove it lah. Then for the flames on the ends, we actually also tested quite a lot of things. So what we used was actually COB wire, 12 volts as well, COB LED strip, and also LED foam. And LED foam is actually low density foam. So it's just like any other normal foam that you use to make cosplay props, but it's very low density, so light passes through. Then when you spray candy tone, only candy tone, then you can get a color, but you can also pass light. So that is what we use. And then we also layered resin on top. So initially, what we wanted to achieve was we wanted to look nice when the judges see, but what we realized was because of the resin, it's very heavy and it's very flat. Like it looks small and just around your wrist like a wristband. So for medium soft AB resin, what we did was when we cast the silicone mold, we use foam base, so there's pores in it. So it looks a bit matte, like not shiny. If you use the shiny one, right, the light doesn't diffuse well. So you can see like 一条线, like one line or one digit, a bit hard. But LED phone is very good lah. I still like to use it quite a bit. So, and I think the main thing about COB LED strip is you can see it's very diffuse. You don't see any digit, you see one very nice line, right? But later I will share you what problems it has lah. As for our chest piece, we are using two 12-volt COB LED strip and Arduino Uno. So some people will ask us what is Arduino Uno. Arduino Uno is a programming board. I don't have it with me, but there's one here later I'll show you guys. So Arduino Uno is actually something to make your LED do additional stuff like reading or like pulsing, blinking, fading, whatever you want. The difference is, I know you know sometimes you go shop and buy, you got those LED strip and then you click the remote control, you can get something like that, right? So those are usually RGB. RGB is red, green and blue. So what is different is for Arduino you must use ARGB, addressable RGB. So RGB means for each digit of LED they all need to do the same thing. You need to control them to do, you can control them but they all will do the same thing. But for ARGB, you can control individual digit. Okay? So, the next slide please. Okay? So far, okay? Okay, so when we went to Japan, we changed. Because during our prelims, we realized a few problems. First of all, 12-volt was so panas that our thermoplastic melted. So the shoulder piece actually melt into the battery and melt into the lights. It was very dangerous. Then the second thing was, we had a lot of wires. So inside our costume, we actually made a pouch, and then everything was linked to the pouch. So when we fight, right, the wire is like straining itself, and then our switch actually like came off a bit. So it was very prone to malfunctions and mishaps during the performance, and I really don't recommend it for a performance to have a lot of wires. Try to reduce your wire mess when you are using it for performance. This is very important. So we changed it completely. I have a bit of mixed feedback for this, and I also feel a little bit of mixed feelings on this, but what we did was we actually changed it to 5 volts. So 5 volts, as I mentioned, it's slightly less brighter, you know, especially on stage and, you know, before the stage light. But we changed it to LED programmable strip, which is at 1 BG, and 2 BG in the middle. Why? The reason is, right, because we felt like having this very odd arrangement makes it look a little bit like fire from far. So this is actually programmed. It has we are using Cendol for this, so it has a bleeding effect. So from stage you can see it's not so bright, all the lights are right. You guys wanna see? For those who are interested, come up, yeah? Or make your phone, okay? So this is the programming. You can see that for Arduino, you have a board, you will have a box. So this is the 麻烦 thing lah. Like there will be a box and it will be in the way, okay? So this is a 5-volt battery, later I'll explain more. And we localize all the wires this time to just hand is hand, phosphor is phosphor, and nothing else. Okay, so just turn it off. So here, basically, we use Cendol cell. It's actually a China brand. A thing to note, right, is during our trial and error, we noticed American brand is better, sorry. So our Arduino and Cendol is similar, but one China, one America. Then the America is more stable. The Cendol, we actually had a lot of issues that it will suddenly just malfunction. But it had a built-in wireless program. So we actually wanted that. We were a bit concerned. We weren't sure when we made this, but we thought that maybe wireless we can use it in the future, so we programmed it inside. So what we did was actually the wireless we used it to control the other person's lighting. You can control your own lighting with a remote control, the basic ones that you buy in hardware store. You can. But the problem is when you're using remote control, when 2 persons are using lights, your signal will influence the other. So you cannot have that. So that's why we program each individually. Okay? So for our performance, actually we use conductive thread on our gloves. So when we touch, then it will connect and it will glow. So, but here I didn't show and I also no video, very lazy. Sorry. Okay, and then maybe we talk a bit about the phosphor piece first. So the phosphor piece we are actually using say 12 volts, but we are no longer using COB. Okay, the reason why is COB when you program it, right, it can only run one color. But we realize when we use mixed color, it's nicer, like orange mixed with yellow or blue mixed with white. So we use that. COB you can program, it's programmable, but it runs in 3. 3 times 3 times 3. So when you do breathing effect, it's like ta 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 ta. So it's not very smooth and it looks very weird. And the other problem with COB is it's not bendable. So like you see it's like stuck. So for swords, very good application for swords or long straight props, but not curves. It doesn't stick well lah. Okay? So we change to the ARGB adjustable and we cut it into 8 strips. So previously we just used 2 and curve like that, but now we cut. And then it was okay, it's more flexible also. And then the next thing is about diffusion. Okay, this one is actually our biggest challenge in this whole thing. Because all of our flames or all the lights are very close to our body. So when that happens, right, you don't have space to diffuse light. So the most important thing is actually when you want to diffuse light, right, you need space, a lot of space. So, like for example, if I just hold the plastic line further, you won't be able to see the biji, but here you can see. So that one is a bit sad lah. But what we use to diffuse actually, first is mirror PU or your aluminium paper, mirror paper also can. So we didn't use aluminium paper because we actually have Arduino board inside. So it actually 通电 it's conductive. So the lighting signal become gila. So we use PU. So what is this for? Is it bounces the light inside. So you can actually use this for your little gemstone, your little resins, everything you can use this. It bounces the light very nicely inside. Okay? And then the more basic stuff is of course this is matte PVC plastic, right? So it depends on what project you are doing. If you are doing like ice, you can use a harder one, which we use a hard one here. So this is a hard ice, so we use thick PVC. But if you are using fire, it's very hard to get the shape. So you have to make it, you have to use a soft one, 0.2 to 0.3 mm. This is 0.5. So the other problem is this one is not heatable. When you heat, it becomes transparent. And when it's transparent, it doesn't diffuse light anymore. But it's very good for diffusing light if you have very fixed props with a fixed shape. Okay. Then the other stuff is backing fiber, the stuff you use for wigs. This is also you can just tear, color it, spray paint it, put inside. Then it looks very nice. Add some glitter, very nice for resin or odds like spear, you know, that kind of stuff. This one is to wrap around your LED strip. So we actually did, but yeah, you use this to wrap around your LED strip, then it will help you to diffuse your light. Okay, but of course when you diffuse your light, right, it won't be so bright now. So this is also one thing that everyone sort of need to balance, you know, when you are making your cosplay props and stuff like. Okay, alright, okay, next is, okay, types of LED. Okay, so far guys, let me know if there's anything or very boring or how. Okay, types of LED. Okay, this one, the first one actually like I prepared some photos before because you didn't know. Okay, you can actually buy pre-wired LEDs on Shopee. This is lifesaver, game changer, because it's pre-wired. You don't even need to do soldering yourself. I will talk about soldering later on, but yeah. And actually for plain or diffuse LED, right, the standard voltage is around 3, which means that it's not very obvious on stage, but you can use it for like photo shoots and props. Also fun fact, usually when cosplayers they do like resin or stuff in the Western, right, even though it's one gemstone, they will put like 3 LED inside just to enhance the brightness. So that's also a fun fact lah. Then the other thing is you can see 10 mm, 5 mm, 3 mm. There's also diffuse and plain, readily available for purchase. So 10 mm is the big one, but it's not the brightest. 5 mm is surprisingly the brightest. And another fun fact also, white light is the brightest. They sell red, green, blue, whatever color, RGB also have. But the problem is usually the color ones are not so bright. So you can kind of adjust it based on say whether you want to get a white one and then you color your outer stuff or you want to get a direct colored one. Okay? And then the other alternative actually I would like to introduce is high watt, high power LED as opposed to using a plain or diffuse LED. It looks like this, I'm so sorry, it's so small. So it looks like this. So what this does is later I'll definitely upload this and I'll put some links inside so everyone can buy. So this one is actually a high power LED. It uses the same 3 volts. So you ask me, what's the difference with plain LED? The battery time very short. So it will die, like the battery will die very soon. Okay? Okay, I feel this is the most common mistake. Okay, you look at addressable RGB and RGB LED strip, right? So RGB means red, green, blue. And then we have the single color. So single color is like, if you are already fixed, you already know what color you want, you don't want to trouble yourself, go for it. It's also cheaper. Don't need to waste money. But if you want RGB, there's RGB kind, and it's very convenient as well nowadays. You can use the remote, or you can also program your own. The most common mistake is people buy 30 LEDs per meter. This is 30 LEDs per meter. This is impossible to diffuse. So a lot of cosplayers use this because it's cheap. There's actually 30s, 60s, 144, the common ones lah. What I would recommend is using the 144 LEDs per meter. What it means is, it's a big gap. You see, 30 LEDs per meter is a very, very big gap. So it's very hard to diffuse. No matter how good your diffusion item is, it's very hard. You have to, for my phosphor, I'm using 144. For the hands one, we are using 60. 60 is usually sufficient, but of course if you can go higher, the effect is usually nicer lah. 不要睡觉。So yeah, okay, then EL wire. EL wire is less common nowadays. EL wire is very thin, but very thin. So it's more for like some very, very 细节, very detailed, very small detail. You can still use it, but on stage it's almost unnoticeable lah, for your info. Okay, COB LED strip. Just now I already mentioned the problem of COB is it goes patchy and then it's very not flexible. Then for normal LED, actually they also have different kind. The normal RGB one. Okay, so this is like basically no coating love. These ones are the waterproof. This is 122. So this one waterproof, right? You can see there's a huge layer. This is not good for programming. You cannot solder onto anything really because of the waterproof. This is good for PC build up. But you can literally peel off the thing lah, but you don't need to spend money lah. Okay? Okay, next. Everything okay, guys? I know it's very heavy. Is everything okay? Okay. Okay, next please. Okay, yay, battery time. Okay, I know it's like, the basic stuff, but we still need to cover a bit lah. Okay, my favorite is the rechargeable battery. Okay. So rechargeable battery, this is a 5 volt. So I would recommend a 5 volt. It's easy, it's convenient, and it gives you enough brightness. And this 5 volt one, actually nowadays, the batteries are all very chunky also. They have all sorts of different heads. So this one is a 2-pin. You can directly just plug it in after you solder your LED. And some have something like this one. This is not this to charge up, but there's something like this for others where you can directly just pop into your props. So it's very flexible now. There's actually a lot of kinds of attachment. I'll call it attachment now, okay? But for 24 volt, usually I don't recommend, and you don't need to use it. 12 volt onwards, right? Actually, it will look very pretty. Okay, 12 volt, it will look like this already. So it's very versatile. So this was one of the issues with our previous prelim one. We used this, so it was very heavy, and it was very. The problem with being heavy is not that you feel heavy, but it drags the wire. So that was a problem for performance. Okay, and power bank. Power bank, you need to take note of the output voltage. So there's a lot of small power banks. Usually you want to buy small power bank because it's easy. But you need to take note of the output voltage. A lot of it, they don't supply that much voltage out. So usually I don't like to use power bank. I feel it's a bit very fun to find. I need to go through a lot of materials just to find, so I don't like to use it. But for disposable, it's also very convenient. And for disposable nowadays also they have a lot of heads. So it's actually very convenient. Okay. This is 12 volts. It's this small. I actually recommend this also. If you are not planning to use it again and again and again, or you are okay with like a low battery time, you can use this. This is like AKA car battery lah, they call it. The 23A 12 volt. I recommend this. This is very nice. Suitable for all the top, can masuk into like the rods also. Then you can see the battery head. They have this kind also. You can plug this into your LED remote control. Okay. So like for your RGB, right? You want to use RGB, there. Okay, so this is like an RGB that you purchase with a controller. Very boring, I know you guys are looking there. So this one, it comes together. And this one, you see you can plug it in. But the bud, right, this one is different bud lah. Some of the bud is for this kind one. So there's a lot of kinds of bud and head. A lot of kinds of bud and heads that you can choose from that you feel is suitable for your project. Okay? Usually we don't go for this because it's a little bit bulky. We like the ones that are the pin head a bit more lah. And for Arduino, usually it's pin head. Also a note, right, for ARGB, aka addressable RGB, you definitely need either a remote controller, or an Arduino board. You cannot program it you cannot do, if you directly tap in, if you directly put battery, it doesn't work, it doesn't light up. So you have to have that. So just start with RGB. I think don't complicate yourself, right? Okay, and then the other batteries are very standard. I also like the PG one. The PG one is enough for all the high watt LED and the plain LEDs. Okay, next. Okay, long tags. Okay, sorry. These are all very basic, so I think I won't talk too much into it, but just some brief info. Like I feel like what you really need to know is LED, there is always a long leg and a short leg. You will ask me why you want to use the LED. So small, so short. You can use it for your resin, your gemstone. This is what you use. Okay, for your small accessories. You can put 3. You don't put RGB strip, RGB strip is very dramatic. So this one, they always have a long and short leg. Okay, long and short leg. The long leg is positive, the short leg is negative, and red is positive, black is negative. Okay, very straightforward. But when you use normal wire to do connection, it doesn't matter. But for me, I personally like to, since it's already positive, negative, I just follow lah because I get very confused myself. So I don't want to confuse myself also. Okay, and for voltage is the main source of power. If you want it to be bright, you need higher voltage. 3 volts, you cannot see anything. Okay, so we go for 5 volts or above. Okay, mini candela. Okay, this is, okay, so some of the package, right, when you buy, right, they will have all the information at the back. They will tell you how many LEDs per meter this is, how many MCD for the plain LEDs, what color, etc. So mini MCD is actually the brighter it is. It means like different colors, they have different brightness. So this is what it means. And angle, sometimes they also have an angle. Angle is a bit funny. When you look at the when it's at 60, that means that maybe from the side you actually cannot see the light. So it's a bit funny one. Yeah, so usually we'll go for the higher angles as well. Okay? And then this is just my own way of seeing it because there's very proper calculation and stuff. But for me, I like to use MAH as an indicator of battery lifetime. So usually I go for a higher one that I can go, okay, this one can last me very long, something like that. But usually, I feel we don't really use it for a long time, so it's usually okay. I don't need to think too much into that. Okay, next. Okay, finally, I also see it here. Okay, okay, so I'm not doing a soldering demo today because there's really nothing you can see. It's very small. We can do it hands-on in a closed workshop next time. But for tools, right? Okay, sometimes if you are lazy, I just use electrical wires. I very lazy. So all you need to do first is you need to cut up the wire you need to cut the wire, you need to peel off the rubber, then you twist it, then you stick it together, then you dip the solder, then it will melt, then yay, then it's connected already. Then you put a shrink tube. Shrink tube is a black color rubber thing. Then you just hair dryer a bit, then it will soak and keep. So usually for safety, I will still go one layer of electric tape just to keep it safe and secure lah, in case anything will touch you or anything. But for the wire cutter, I feel you don't really need to buy. I use the scissors lah, unless you really do it very often and you want something very pro, you can. So for solder, I recommend a 0.7 to 1.0 mm square. Usually it doesn't make a huge difference. It's fine one. And for wire, I usually like the 0.14 mm square, which is very basic lah. Here are the basic wires. Okay, breadboard. I would like to introduce you guys to this. This is a very nice item, which later Kyandy will also cover. This is a breadboard. It's a 面包盘. It's a gardenia. Okay. So what it does, right, is actually it lets you test out your circuit before you actually solder anything. So you don't need to waste money and burn your LED. So what it does, like, all these are actually, you see all the lines, it means wires is like connected. So you can also use all these jump wires to connect. Then you put your LED here, you tap into it, like just put your LED in, or you put your RGB LED strip inside, then you put the battery inside, then you can see if it lights up. Later there will be a live demo behind. So this is very good if you don't want to waste money. This one can get at hardware shop for 12 ringgit. Shopee a bit cheaper lah. Okay, next. Okay, circuit. Okay. So for series circuit, it means that the voltage is divided. Very important. Because 3 volts plus 3 volts, then your LED will become dimmer. And your battery must match. If you can actually use a lower voltage battery to supply your LEDs, but they will be dim. So make sure you count your voltage and everything well. Okay? So for series circuit, it looks example like this. It's like 一条线, like one line. You connect everything together. But for parallel circuit, each voltage is the same. It's not divided. So for the top one is like 9 volts, then the second one is also 9 volts, then the third one is also 9 volts. It's the same. But what you need to take note is, if you are very new and you are very concerned if you might screw up your battery or anything, you can do parallel. It's just that there's a lot of wire mess. But parallel is when you realize one LED is not working, you can cut it out and it won't affect your circuit. But series, you cut one out means bye-bye. Everything you need to rewire lah. Okay? So when to use it? Okay. This one, there's actually 2 ways to do it. So you see, like for the BG, right, it can be like gemstones with light. So you can do it parallel like that. Or you want to do it series also can, depending on your battery and depending on your lifespan. So for fossil, we actually connected 8, but we are using series now. Okay? Alright, next. Okay, okay, how you want to do it, right? I also don't know how to explain this one. Okay. Yeah. One thing is, when you go and buy your LED strip, it's different across each like LED strip, you know. So here, right, mostly for a normal RGB strip, you will see G, R, and B, a positive, and then 2 negatives. But it's different for all. Some RGB they have like 4 pins and etc. So what you need to do is, how you solder is, the LEDs, make sure the arrow is actually leading away from the pin. So that is the right direction that you are soldering. And if you have 2 negative on the strip, you need to make sure it's soldered together. So this one has 2 negative, I know very small, 2 negative. So you must make sure the 2 negative actually also solder together. So you mean like you draw one block across the 2 lah. Okay? Okay. So same again, red goes to the plus pole and black to the G and D pole, which is ground. Actually, it stands for ground lah. Okay. And then the third one, if you need it, if you are using ARGB, usually I like to add green wire. It means the data wire. So I know which is which lah. It's not very confusing one. Okay. And then how to solder? This is the 9th one. These are all bad. Okay. So make sure it's like a cone shape. Okay. Next. Okay, so just now I got slightly mentioned the diffusing material already. So PE foam is what I use to wrap around LEDs. And then matte plastic, like just now I shared, which is matte plastic, tapping fiber, so LED foam. Okay, another very interesting thing is actually sanding. So if you are using like a transparent or clear material, you can just sand the inside so that it actually appears matte already. Then it will be very, very good for details. Pretty much you don't need to do anything already. The other thing is, what sanding helps is also sanding actually helps with the, what's it called? The stickiness of the plastic. Yes, plastic actually doesn't stick together. It's very, very hard to get plastic to stick together. So you must make sure that it is sand. Once you sand it, I still feel hot glue is the best, sadly to say, but you can actually use like other 502, all those, but there will be stains. So make sure you sand the plastic, then it will stay. So, okay, like what we did when we did the I kind of, when we wanted to go for them, we just stick another LED phone here, just to kind of diffuse it inside and outside lah. But it's a bit tricky lah, because there's no space, because it's on the hand. But you see for phosphor, it diffuses very nicely because there's a lot of space. Let me show you. Yeah, wait, come out already. 1 moment. So for phosphor, you see, you cannot see the BG because there's enough space. Like we actually stick the wire sideways, so 它是有东西顶着的, like there's something like there's like pushing the base plate up. So underneath is mirror paper and then LED foam. That's why, but that one because you don't have space, then it looks a bit not so nice lah. Okay, next. Okay, so just a short idea, like when to use what, but I think I also got to share on the way. So for swords, anything straight, if you want to keep it simple, clean, looks very nice, go for COB. I think it looks very nice. Then for gemstones, definitely go for, I would recommend like the plain LEDs, go for the high watt one now. The high watt would be nice. But of course also take note that it will melt your material if it's very high. So that is one thing to note. 5 volt is okay, 12 volt it will melt. Okay? And then let's see for wings. What this one what Kyandy did was actually is actually PE foam. She wrapped her PE foam around a LED strip, a normal adjustable LED strip. Then she colored the foam, the PE foam. Then she get this effect already. So this is also a very good way to do it. And another thing to note is that you don't always have to stick your LED like that. You can wrap it around. You can face inside. If you face inside, there's more reflection inside one, like they bounce. Instead of just facing upwards, to note lah. Okay, and then on the most left pic is my very, very ancient cosplay that I use PL wire. So in photos it's actually bright enough, but actually in real life you cannot really see it. You need to be completely dark and you can see it. It's almost like a glow in the dark stick like that, but it's very thin, so it's very nice for detailing lah. Okay, next. Okay, before the play first. Okay, so this is Arduino, so we'll show you like a short demo of what and how to do Arduino, and then it also shows you how to use the breadboard. And then I will stop you in the middle just to let you know that where this can be applied lah. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Kyandy from Team Cendol and I'm WCS Team Malaysia representative for 2024. I'm really sorry I couldn't attend TAGCC. I'm super excited to be here with you all today for this workshop. So I'm sure Rikka has already introduced you some of the basic LEDs. So now let's dive into the more complicated part, which is Arduino. So today I'll show how to get started with Arduino yourself. Till now, this workshop is aimed at helping you to get comfortable with powering Arduino and controlling simple lighting. So by the end of this, I hope you feel confident that you learned something new and continue to explore more advanced projects on what exactly is Arduino. To make it simple, think of Arduino like your brain and the LED as your hand. So your brain controls what your hand does by sending commands. And if you have a add a speaker to your project. Let's say you don't just want LED, you want some music or some voice. So now the speaker is like your mouth. Arduino acting like the brain, tell your hand, which is your LED, what color to show, and your mouth, which is the speaker, what sounds to make. It's all about sending the right signal. So, what exactly is Arduino? To make it simple, think of Arduino like your brain and the LED as your hand. So your brain controls what your hand does by sending commands. And if you add a speaker to your project, let's say you don't just want LED, you want some music or some voice. So now the speaker is like your mouth. Arduino acting like the brain, tell your hand, which is your LED, what color to show, and your mouth, which is the speaker, what sounds to make. It's all about sending the right signal. So, what exactly is Arduino?
The video, I think, can you skip a bit? I think it was replaying a bit. Sorry guys. Yeah.
Hello everyone.
Sorry. Oh my god.
I'm Team Cendol and I'm WCS team actor.
Okay,
Your sister is always.
No, you need to go back to the page and then for the video you need to I think like there was a bug to sound, sorry guys. Yeah, see that not this bar. On top there was another bar.
Hello everyone, my name is Kyandy from Team Cendol.
Technical difficulties, guys. I think you can minimize the screen and then maybe you can push the bar or you just press next. Yes. Oh my god, see they all struggling with that.
Some of the basic ideas. So now let's dive into the more complicated part, which is Arduino.
Sorry,
so today I'll show you how to get started with Arduino yourself. Fear not, this workshop is aimed at helping you to get comfortable with powering Arduino and controllers.
Oh, help us. Yeah, you see this bar? Yeah. No, too far. Go back. Go back. Some more. Okay, further up. Okay, done. Okay.
Start with Arduino.
Arduino starter kit, guys.
So you can easily find one on Shopee or Taobao. It looks like this, and this kit may not always be from the official Arduino brand, which is all the way from US. But don't worry, they work just the same, and the components are similar. They are perfect for learning. Let's move on powering an LED with Arduino Uno. So just a bit more information. If you're getting Arduino, you don't know which model to get. Uno is one of the famous for cosplayer, and there are one more is more famous for cosplayer as well, which is Nano. It's really small, but for first timer you can't even see the board. It's very hard to solder. I think it's very hard for testing as well. So I don't recommend for first timer. But these two are the common one. If you think this is too big, you can use this. So I'm here to walk you through step by step. First, we need a breadboard. So what's a breadboard? Breadboard is a tool used to build and test circuit without soldering. Okay. It has many tiny holes arranged in a row and columns and allow you to insert components like LED or resistor, as you can see now. Yeah, this is how the breadboard is. I won't go through too much on the detail on how the breadboard is, but they actually go by vertical and they also have a middle separation. And lastly, this is the power rail. Yeah, so this is a breadboard and it's included in the starter kit, so don't worry about it. As long as you get starter kit, everything is here. Second, you need a jumper wire. This jumper wire is both needed at the end, so it's very important to get this one for testing. Third will be a 220 ohm resistor. It looks like this. And something LED is also in the starter kit. So we start with plain LED first. Okay, it's very important. Simple by top. Cable A to cable B. And Arduino Uno. So I'm gonna explain a bit more on Arduino Uno. So you might feel intimidating because there's a lot of things going on the board. But you need to know 5 key important things. One is the digital pins that is clearly listed down here, which you can it wrote here like digital pins, right? And then that's one digital pin. So these are very important because these are the pins that send the signal to the LED. Next will be the GND, ground pin. You can see from here, we label GND. And there's actually 2. So the ground pin is where you connect the negative part and you wanted to, it acts like a return path for electricity to flow back to the board. Third will be the 5V. 5V and 3V, these are the power pins. So it provides power to the external components. Then next will be the USB port, which just now is the USB-B and USB-C. This is very important. This is where you connect to your laptop or your PC to upload and to upload the code into this. Yeah, in the account. But when you're done with doing this is during the configuration. And lastly, reset button. It's a small little button here that you can, if anything goes wrong, just press this. So for this workshop, you just need to focus on the digital pins, which is the LED, and the GND. Lastly is the USB port. You will notice that we are not using any electricity because by connecting this USB port, we already can see the lights is lit up because by connecting you will have a minimum 5V going through this continuous board. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you don't need a battery any external source battery at all. It means that you don't need battery now, but we can see the effects provided of the Arduino. Yes, so the goal here is to understand your Arduino. That's why the battery not included in this workshop. So the first thing is to prepare and set up the breadboard by inserting the LED. So identify the legs of the LED, which is the long one is positive and the short one is negative. So place the long one and the short one into one of the four circles. Okay, this is and we want this end to go into the negative one. Next, get the jumper wire ready. So the GND one will be connecting to the negative one. And the direct connect to this. Yeah, that's actually how it looks like. The next thing, connect from here. And this is some of the things that it looks like. So next thing is to install Arduino IDE. So this is an Arduino website page. You put the software and download the IDE. Yeah. So it actually looks like this when you push on it. So first, next thing is connect your USB cable to your board. So select board, Arduino. Okay. So I think we need to go to the tools to ensure we select the board. But other than that, download the Arduino IDE and select the board. You can see that it's connected, and you also can tell that from your Arduino, the lights on already. So everything is in place right now, technically. So here you can see that you can actually go to this documentation campaign. So this is the official tutorial from Arduino, where you can see how to actually tell you how to connect, which is exactly the same thing doing right now. And also this is the code. So this is Cendol ID, so you need to put your selector. What this do is to tell you which pin. So as I leave it, you just put in ID and then the pin. So this go right. So this is to turn on and turn off. Alright, if you do this and you press upload, when you press upload, it should show you a blinking light. And I hope you guys can see it's blinking and not blinking too much. So what happens is, if I do this, now you can see it's blinking. This means that to delay the light,
Well, okay, I'll just add on a bit so you guys will fall asleep as well. So the digital pin, right, when you tap on, right, is actually the breadboard key. When you are done, you can actually adjust it because after that, when we do LED strip, the number actually means the number of LED on your strip. So it's a little bit complicated and it's quite different. So make sure to take note of that as well. But breadboard is always a good thing to start with. And why do we need a resistor? Is usually if you are very confident, you don't actually need a resistor. And online you can actually directly calculate a resistor with a calculation. But sometimes we recommend it for beginners just so that you don't burn your board and stuff lah. Okay? Then the other thing is also when do you use like blinking lights and stuff? So what you can do on the breadboard is actually you can connect a few LED in series or in parallel with some of the other jump wires and connect it to your programming source so that you can see if it looks like one piece of resin or gemstone on the dress, what kind of effect you can get. So that would be a good way to use plain LEDs lah. Okay? Okay guys? Okay, then we will continue some more about addressable RGB. Again, for addressable RGB, only can be programmed, yeah? Okay. Can we? Almost there, guys.
So I'm already at almost the last part of the workshop. You guys hanging here and you guys did great. So the last part of this workshop is to connect with LED. I guess everyone was a bit more excited than the plain LED, right? It's an LED strip. So this is an addressable RGB strip, but it's 5 volts. So please make sure it's 5 volts, okay? So because I'm using 5 volts, I don't need additional electric or battery source to power in. Arduino itself is enough. Also, because I think here I got 19 bulbs only. 19 bulbs is enough. If you're gonna power a whole 1 meter strip, okay, maybe that's not enough. So you need additional power source. So here is just an example of it. So you can later on see how it really goes into an LED strip. So I'm gonna show you an action shot. You still need the resistor factor. Resistor is always good to make sure that your LED don't get overheated or burn out. Please try to use a resistor, but how to use it, I won't come into this workshop because you need to calculate yourself, and I think that's whole another topic. Okay, so first thing is the red color you need to put into the power source, because now we have two pins, so put in the power. And the white one is our GND. So GND usually is white or black. So why I'm using white here is because my LED strip is following the colors, so I just want to follow the colors a bit. Yeah, so it's white. So I'm putting in my pin. Now they can light. And then lastly is the green one, as you can see. So the green one is just a bit back to the But before I putting in the green one, I'm going to make sure the green one has a resistor in between. So I want to make sure I'm not burning anything. Even I burn it is just another money. I burn so many circuits in WCS, so don't worry about the mistake. I make mistakes too. We don't go there by perfect. We go there by filming so many things and get perfect. So yeah, now I can. It's slightly even easier than LED. You don't even need to know the positive or the negative. I should just follow the color red to the 5 volt, white to the GMD, and the green is the black. Digital pin. So here I choose my digital pin of 13. It's very important. You see the pin, don't forget the digital pin. Okay, so now I'm connected. So what's next? Now your code doesn't work because you need a totally different code. They need to identify this is true. So it's very different, it's not like LED. So the best thing is I actually go to Camry tutorial to look at her code. Her code is amazing for cosplayer, not even joking. So please go to her YouTube. Her website code has a big issue. I think there's something like, so if you follow this, you should go to her GitHub. And you just go with this request. What you need to do is to just copy and paste the code here into your Arduino. And always make sure that Arduino is connected. And okay, I think the first thing is to download library. So you can see here there's 2 inputs. I already downloaded, but just need to make sure that you guys also download. So you need to go into Sketch, input library, and manage library. What happens is you just need to type ADA full NeoPixel. Oh, yeah, I already installed. So you need to install this one. And what happens is you use this library. So very simple, don't think too much. Library means I just use the package that's installed. It's just like set ESC or extra ESC inside. there's two things you need to know. One is the key. You just want to do the key. So Halloween is 6 hours is the key. And the safety here is that to define how many bulb you have. Bulb, yes. For adjustable RGB, each bulb you can actually code it. That's why it's very important to count how many bulb you have. So we have 19 here, only the 60, 60 to common, 1 meter 60. Okay. So we have 19 here for testing and this change. But I think if you put lesser, it's fine because you're still going to just like halfway. It's fine, you know. You won't learn something. It's like, you know, coding is fine. Coding is just put wrong and then they just tell you can't do anything. You won't learn anything. But if you put wrong jumper wire, yes, that is something. Just because. So, I think everyone is very, very compact right now. So once you upload, you immediately see what is doing. And what happened is, Carmen input a lot of things. She input an example to show the strict color blue, green, and red, which is mentioned just now. And then she also added a filter choose just now. And that this is rainbow 20. Then after that you will have a rainbow cycle. So she actually add multiple effects. So once I upload, it will just non-stop showing you different effects so that you can get a good grasp on what kind of effects belongs to what effects. But I done my workshop, so congrats everyone to stay tuned. I'm so sorry, I know that my opinion, my ranking more, that's a lot. But I hope this helped you guys and feel free to ping me any questions to me or Rikka. Feel free, okay? I'm not around so I can't answer any question on the spot. But if you have any question, do just message me. I will sometimes miss message me on Instagram. That is a bit faster. But yeah, I hope you guys like it and I really hope you guys learn something. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Candy. That's so listening. Okay. So maybe just a slight recap as well, just to avoid any confusion. So usually you don't need like a full 1 meter length of adjustable RGB for your props now. Of course, it's also not what we recommend. But if it complicates you, like you are very confused with how to code it as well, split it into a few sections. So you can connect back your LED, using wires, but it's easier to code that way, as it helps you keep track with each of the LED on the strip. Okay? Alright? And then next please, I think we have one last slide. So this is a very helpful website for us. It's Arduino docs basically. Here they have all the built-in source code and stuff. So I know it's very complicated. If you I don't know how to code or what does it work, etc. Don't worry, when you actually try on a breadboard and you copy and paste the code, you will start to understand what each code means. So like what Kenny mentioned, when you have one or so, they incorporate everything. You can remove the codes one by one, section by section, then you can understand what it actually means. Okay? Alright guys, how was it? Is everything okay for you? Okay? So I guess that's the end of my workshop and Kenny's workshop. So thank you very much for staying in all the way to listen. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope it was helpful. But don't go yet. We have some giveaway items. Oh, but before that, any questions? Any? Yes.
Is it possible to use Raspberry Pi? Generally, Raspberry Pi Zero is much more smaller than Arduino, but maybe not smaller than Nano. I haven't tried that.
Okay, I haven't tried Raspberry Pi before, but I did Arduino Trinket. So it's slightly bigger than Nano, but it's still quite small. Usually for beginners, I wouldn't recommend. Of course, you can use it and there wouldn't be any issues at all. It's just a matter of complexity and whether your soldering skills and everything is okay lah. Because for Trinket and Nano, I find it very difficult. And we are using Cendol, which is very small also, but it's not so stable as we find compared to Arduino lah. Just a personal preference lor. Okay.
Maybe can try to reduce the error of soldering. You just mentioned something for the 0 to 30K, right? So 30K, we can actually get connected. So it's just soldering the error of wire or LED and just plug in.
Yeah, correct, exactly. That's soldering one. That's why I say it depends on your compatibility and how well you solder lah for me. Okay. Thank you. But yes, he also gave an opinion. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, yes.
Hi, Rikka.
Hello.
I want to ask about how to how to want to switch the LED, like one color to another color and then go into another color.
Okay, very good question. So for beginners, right, like I would actually recommend the basic RGB. So they come with a remote control. So you can actually directly use that and put the mode setting on. Then when you need it, just turn it on and off. Because for Arduino, definitely you can do it and you can change each individual color. But I feel like if you are just changing the whole thing one color to another color to another color, you don't need Arduino. Arduino is more for like one, two LED different color, one, two different color. For a whole strip, different color, and then another cycle, you can just use normal RGB with a connector remote. So something like just now I showed, like you get the LEDs with this, and you can control it. Okay, thank you. I hope it helps. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that if there are too many bulbs, you can break it up, right?
Yeah.
Will you suggest, like, actually, how do you actually program index circuits? Because I'm a beginner, like, how do you actually link them together, or
How to link them together?
or manage the separated circuit?
Okay, to link them together is very simple. It's also using wires, pretty much just soldering in each of it lah. But when you do Arduino coding, you can see in the document, they have a built-in example. You can break each of the LED strips into different categories. So it's easier for you. You can basically code one part and you code the other. So I find it a bit easier to manage because you don't need to count 1 to 100. You can count 1 to 12, break, I code 12 to 24. Yeah. So yes, you can use the same code. Yes. Okay. It's just the different numberings and different there's a when you go into the document you will see they will teach you how to speak as well lah. I hope it helps. And thank you. Okay, maybe I just take one last one there lah. Okay, sorry
I noticed you mentioned about Arduino, right? Is the whole of your Arduino compatible with it?
Yes. Okay, to be very honest, right, I'm using Arduino's code for Arduino, but we actually did have some troubles with Arduino itself, and then it tends to like a bit more wonky, like it's not very stable. So I'm not sure exactly if it's because of the code or because of the board itself is not so stable. So this one, I'm also experimenting myself, so I cannot really say whether for sure it's compatible or not, but it does work lah. Thank you.
Thank you also, Rikka, for that wonderful performance. Everybody, let's give a round of applause for Rikka.
Thank you guys, thanks for listening in. I know it's very heavy. I also don't want to do it again.